best performance of the year, and his first pitch is a strike to Schumacher. It's time for the Budweiser opening pitch, and it was a strike. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. No balls and 2 strikes as we're underway after the rain delay, and there you're looking at Brian Bannister, who is 5-3 on the year with a 4.10 earned run average. And he likes the daylight, to be sure. 15-4 is his record in daytime play. And here is the sprint pitcher profile for Brian Bannister.
Well, if he's able to get his curveball over, he's very effective. Hitters have a tough time. Pitch around Pujols. Doesn't mean don't pitch to Pujols. When I say pitch around, you've got to get the 1 and 2 hitters out and the 4 and 5.
1-2 pitch, strike 3, and Schumacher goes down to start the game. Cardinals winning last night 10-5, and the Royal pitching has been battered. David DeJesus in left, Mitch Meyer in center, Jose Guillen at right, Martin is at third base, Luis Hernandez, Alberto Callaspo is at second, Billy Butler at first base, Miguel Olivo behind the plate, and Bannister, who's now facing Colby Rasmus, one of the top rookies, swings at the first pitch and bounces out to Butler unassisted, and quickly there are 2 away. So Rasmus, who had his first 4-hit game of his career last night, and a quick 2 outs for the Cardinals. And here is Albert Pujols, who knocked in 2 runs with a single in the first inning and scored his 1,000th run of his phenomenal career also last night. Hitting .320, 10th in the league in hitting, 23 home runs, second in the National League, and also second in runs driven in with 60. Ball 1 outside.
And we talked about at the beginning, pitch around Pujols. What he did, Bannister, he got the first hitter out, the second hitter out. Now he comes up with nobody on. He's pitching to the guys around Pujols.
2 balls and no strike to Albert Pujols, who left the game after 4.5 innings. There you see his sky-high rankings in the National League. A little dehydrated and had a tweak in the hamstring, but is in the lineup today. Lifts a fly ball deep to center field. Meyer back on the warning track, and a 1-2-3 inning as Pujols is retired. Cardinals don't score, and the Royals coming up. Think outside the bun. David DeJesus leading off. Luis Hernandez getting a chance today at short. Billy Butler hitting third. The DH is Mike Jacobs. Jose Guillen batting 5th. Albert Callaspo batting 6th. Mark Teahan hit 7th. Miguel Olivo 8th. And Mitch Meyer batting 9th against Chris Carpenter, who is 4-1 on the year. And the opposition, Eric, hitting 169 against him, making his 9th start of the year.
He's been dominant this year. He was on the disabled list for a period, but come back strong.
Lost his first game of the season in his last start, and the first pitch to De Jesus is in for the strike. And here is the sprint pitcher profile for Chris Carpenter.
Well, there's only one hitter in the lineup today for the Royals, Jose Guillen, that has seen Chris Carpenter, so that'll be interesting. And for me, the only way you beat him is if you have a rain delay, and he's got to come out of the game. He's been that dominant.
His ERA 0.71 after the first 6 starts, the best in Cardinal franchise history, and facing a hitter in De Jesus, who hit a home run on the second pitch last night. Made it 2-1 at the time, and that was the last Kansas City challenged, as the Cardinals winning 10-5. And there you see how the day has cleared up beautifully after thunderstorms, which started about noon hour Central Time. Fly ball out to left field, and Keel coming over toward the line. Backing up, and there's one away as De Jesus is retired. Let's take a look at the Cardinals in the field, and Keel, Rasmus, and Ludwig in the outfield. Khalil Green now at third baseman. Brendan Ryan and Skip Schumacher in the middle infield. Albert Pujols at first. Carpenter pitching to Yadier Molina. And with one away, the batter is Luis Hernandez, making his 9th start of the year at shortstop. Switch hitter. Played the last 2 years with the Orioles as a utility man, and takes a strike. Hernandez is 3 for 20 as a left-handed batter. Big cut on a miss on the off-speed pitch, 0-2.
Well, and he's hitting atop the lineup, and that's been one of the big problems, getting those guys on at the beginning. You see 75 degrees. That looks nice, but let me tell you, the humidity, it is smoking out here right now.
And mostly sunny, not partly cloudy at this rate. We had enough clouds before. And the 90-minute rain delay. What do you do during a rain delay?
Well, I got to know my broadcast partner. I spoke with you the whole time.
No, but when you played, Eric, I know.
We've
known each other.
Yeah, you go back in the clubhouse. You may play some cards, just try to kill some time, go to the batting cage, hit off the tee. Just try to stay loose, though.
Pitch is inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hernandez. The Royals, how about the Royals the last couple of days, losing twice by 12-5 scores to the Diamondbacks, and then 10-5 last night. As you see the waterfall in the outfield, the pitch is fouled off. And in talking with the manager, Trey Hillman, the first thing he said was, we're not producing enough runs.
Well, it doesn't matter how many runs you produce. If you're giving up double-digit, it's going to be tough. But ironically, those first 2 games, defensively, they really had some struggles. Last night, their pitchers just made some bad pitches, and St. Louis hit the ball.
Rounded to second base, and Schumacher will make the play. And there are 2 down for the Royals. So we asked Chris Myers, who's with us, what he did during the rain delay.
Well, I got to hang at, they call it the party deck in the outfield with fans, and again, a sellout here from all over Missouri, Cardinal and Royal fans. In fact, as many Cardinal fans as Royal fans here in Kansas City. But when you showed the temperature moments ago with the sun out beaming, it feels a whole lot hotter than 75 degrees, as Eric mentioned. Players are already sweating, and the humidity is rising fast. So while the sun is out, the players are feeling the heat. The good news, Dick and Eric, is that the field, that the tarp cut was covered, the outfield, it drains well here, and the field should not be any problem at all.
All right, Chris, thank you.
But Chris, how's that suit treating you right now?
That's why I wore a light gray. Sweltering gray. This is a Hugo Boss color. It's new this fall.
I don't think it would have mattered. Good plug for you anyway, Chris, as the breaking ball rides inside. And Billy Butler, the first baseman, who's hitting .287 with 6 homers and 31 runs batted in. And the 34-year-old right-hander, Chris Carpenter from Manchester, New Hampshire. And it's fouled off. Carpenter, as you know, missed just about all of the last 2 seasons. Tommy John surgery in 07 and elbow surgery in 08. And he finished the year on the DL with a sore shoulder. And the Cardinals always said, if we can get Carpenter back and he's healthy, we've got a chance.
Well, any team that has a guy like him has a chance. He's the definite number one, and as you just mentioned, if the health is there, he can be dominant.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Take a look at the umpire, Rusty. Well, let's make it Ed Rapuano is the home plate umpire, to my knowledge, and they're the rest of them. Joe West is at first, Paul Nart at second, and Paul Schreiber at third. Joe West, of course, is the crew chief. He's got a few CDs out as well with some of the Western teams.
Yeah, kind enough to drop a few by the booth. Yeah, that's what we should have done during the rain delay. Sampled some of that music.
2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 down here in the Royals' first inning. And fouled back on the screen. Last night, Billy Butler hit his 6th home run of the year. 421-foot shot. Unfortunately, it was in the 8th inning and the game had long been decided. But the Royals are looking for anything. They had 3 homers last night in the losing cause. 2-2 pitch, strike 3 on the breaking pitch, right on the rubber on the inside corner, right on the black. 1-2-3 inning for Carpenter. By Sprint, get more done with Nextel Direct Connect, only on the Now Network. And by Craftsman, trust in your hands. No score, top of the 2nd inning, and a great crowd on hand as Brian Bannister facing Ryan Ludwig, and the first pitch is a call strike. Ludwig with his first career Grand Slam home run last night. And right in the middle, mired in a 9-for-58 slump. Hits this one to the shortstop, Hernandez, and Ludwig is retired, and there's one away. Tony La Russa, who is now 2 wins shy of 2,500 career wins. Only Connie Mack and John McGraw have won more games than Tony La Russa in his 31st season in baseball. He's won World Series in both leagues. Pretty good. Yeah,
he's doing a great job this year. He's got the Cardinals only a half game out coming into today, and you know, he's had to mix and match the bullpen, and with injuries to Carpenter, with Hank Keel going on the DL, and Ludwig. Could be one of his best jobs he's ever done.
Chris Duncan, the designated hitter, taking a call strike, and Bannister is ahead of Duncan 0-2 as he steps out of the batter's box. Duncan hitting .250 with 5 homers and 30 runs batted in. was the DH last night, and actually La Russa took off the DH when he moved Duncan to first base, and that's when Pujols left the game after 4.5 innings. But you're right about the Cardinals. I mean, look at all the shifts this year. Schumacher, an outfielder, playing second, and movement all around, and it seems to work for this ball club. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Duncan.
Well, at third base as well, you've had you've got Khalil Green there today, but Joe Thurston's had to play some third base, and as I said, what's been unique, Tony La Russa has always got the most out of his guys.
And Duncan strikes out. 2 down. That's the second strikeout for Brian Bannister.
Bannister has been tantalizing him with some off-speed stuff, and here the slider down near the bottom of the zone. Duncan just swings over it. Again, Bannister's got the off-speed, the curveball anywhere from 68 to 75, but he keeps you off balance. That's why he's effective.
Career against the Cardinals, Bannister is 3-1, making his 5th start against St. Louis. And here is Yadier Molina. Great one-handed stop by Hernandez, who guns it over. Great play by Luis Hernandez. And a 1-2-3 inning, another 8-pitch inning for Bannister, helped out by Hernandez. We're in the middle of the second, no score. By Sears is sponsored by Bud Light Lime. The drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime.
Great play by the shortstop Hernandez, especially the fact it was hit so hard, but he gets up, sets himself, and makes a good strong throw. He doesn't panic, doesn't rush, throws out Molina by a plenty. There you see him getting the high fives.
And Mike Jacobs, the designated hitter, takes ball 1. That's been a big problem for the Royals as of late. Shoddy defense. They committed 3 errors in each of the last 2 losses to the Diamondbacks. So this ball club really having its problems. 50 errors and 13th in fielding in the American League. And there is their manager, Trey Hillman, in his 2nd year. Managed for 5 years in the Japanese League. 46-year-old native of Amarillo, Texas. That pitch is down low. It's 2-0.
And, talking about the defense, we spoke to Trey prior to the game, and he said that nobody works harder or spends more time on the defense than the Royals. He said the Cardinals are right up there as well. So that tells me if you're physically going through the effort, then what is it that causes you to make errors on the field? And that's got to be mentally you're not involved the entire game.
3 balls and a strike. And Trey Hillman, whose team got off to a pretty good start, In fact, the Royals were in first place practically every day through May the 15th, ball 4, and Jacobs becomes the first base runner. And they were 7 games over 500 at one point, but they've lost 15 of 20 since then, including 8 in a row. But you got to play defense. Can't give people those extra outs, Chris Myers.
No, you can't. And as Eric was talking about last year when the extra time was put in infield and outfield practice and routine defense, some of the players, as Trey Hillman told us, were grumbling about it. This year, not a word. And they have put in the extra time. And because of a number of injuries in the lineup and changes, the defense has been difficult, but it hasn't been because of lack of effort.
How about the effort of the Cardinals, Chris? Thank you. With an around-the-horn double play started by Khalil Green. And 2 outs, nobody on base.
Well, Khalil Green, your new Cardinal third baseman, you see he starts back, then sees the big hop, gets it, makes a good throw to Schumacher, who turns it easily for the double play.
So there are 2 down, and Khalil Green, as you know, coming back into action after suffering a social anxiety disorder, missed 19 games on the disabled list, and came back big time as a starter last night. Pop-up by Cayaspo, fielded by Ankiel. The side is retired and will return to St. Louis after a break from your local Fox station. By Sears. Bottom third of the Cardinal order facing Brian Bannister, and the first pitch lined to right field for a base hit by Ankiel. Fielded by Guillen. Now the ball gets away from Guillen, and into second is Ankiel. It'll be a single and an error. And there's that shoddy defense bobbing its head again, and Ankiel in scoring position.
Well, you see Guillen hustling over there, and he's a little bit concerned right now. Ankiel doesn't make the play. He's trying to field it and already get turned to fire into second base. Overruns it a little bit, allowing Ankiel to get the second base. This is exactly what Trey Hillman was concerned about.
So Ankiel is on at second with nobody on, and that brings up Khalil Green. Great story with Green coming back. And really a lot happier now. With, again, the 19 games on the DL, returned Thursday and pinch hit against the Tigers and struck out. But last night, Green had a double and a home run and left the game with a bruised leg after a foul ball hit him, but he's all right in the lineup today. The count is 1-0 to Green. And a good stop made by Olivo in the count 2-0.
Well, you talked about him making his return last night. Here you see getting a hold of one, a home run. He doubled as well and walked. A real nice first game, and that really sets a tone for him mentally, and that could be his biggest obstacle as he comes back for this Cardinal ball club.
He was the opening day shortstop for Tony La Russa, and now at third base, and pops this one up to right field, and Guillen, wearing the glasses, of course, making the catch for out number 1. And Keel goes back to second. And now it's time for Fan Can, brought to you by Bank of America Home Loans, making a commitment to home and to homeowners. Starting now, Home has a new address. We got youngsters, babies, oldsters, Cardinal fans, and Royals fans. And, of course, this has been a terrific rivalry. The cross-state rivals. Cardinals lead in this series this year 3-1. They have not won the season series against Kansas City since 2006. And, of course, they did meet in a World Series, great World Series in 1985 when the Royals won in 7. Brendan Ryan hitting .300 with 9 runs batted in. 1 out, and Ankiel on at second base. No score, top of the third. And a base hit up the middle by Ryan, rounding third. And here is Ankiel, and the throw is cut off, and the Cardinals take the lead. Brendan Ryan, with his 10th run batted in, knocks in Ankiel. And there you see how that error has hurt the Kansas City Royals, and the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead.
All Ryan doing is just trying to hit the ball to get the runner in, pops it right back up the middle. Doesn't exactly scorch it, but gets enough of it to get it through the infield. This is what we talked about. It's one thing to make an error, but it's another thing when the other team takes advantage of you making an error. And that's what really has hurt this Royal Ball Club the last couple of ball games.
And that was the right fielder, Guillen, who had made the error. And so Ryan hitting over .300 since coming back from the DL. There goes the runner, and it's slapped to the left side. And Hernandez makes the play at first as Schumacher slides in. Very smart play by Schumacher. Almost got a base hit through what could have been an open portion of the left side of the infield as Ryan goes to second.
Well, they've got the hit and run going right now, and Schumacher trying to shoot it through the shortstop side. You see the shortstop going to cover second base. He recovers, gets back over there, and makes a good strong throw to first base to get the hustling Schumacher.
So Hernandez has stopped in his tracks.
Showing some glove, yeah, showing some glove early.
Involved in 2 important plays. Here's Colby Rasmus, who is the top rookie in the National League. Here's a pickoff bluff to second, and getting back is Ryan.
Well, you talk about being a top rookie, and you know there isn't a lot of them, and there aren't a lot of them having great years, but Colby Rasmus, really a great June so far. First in home runs, RBIs, runs for rookies, and hitting in that important number 2 spot for the Cardinals. 2
down, another runner on scoring position, and another bluff by Bannister. And how good has Colby Rasmus done? He just talked about first in RBIs, extra base hits, and hits. Second in home runs. Had the first 4-hit game of his career, and hitting, ready for this .331 against right-handed pitching. Breaking pitch is low, 1-0.
Well, and he's done a lot of this damage in June, hitting over .400. Driving the ball well, but as Tony La Russa told us before, he's getting an opportunity to play. And you have to remember, still only 22 years of age.
And has gotten off really to a slow start all throughout his career, the minor leagues and this year. And then he gets the swing of things. Look out. And there goes the throw, and it's off the glove into center field by Olivo. And Ryan will go to third base. So another error by the Royals. And with 2 outs, Schumacher is at third. 2 errors this inning by Kansas City.
Well, Olivo just trying to catch him off the base, makes a strong throw, but it's high, goes into center field. See Ryan hustling back, and you see the minute he realizes it's out to center, he hustles into third.
So the Royals trying to fool you. That fine play by Hernandez to end the second inning, and then a couple of errors here. And now runner at third with 2 down, 1-1 The count to Rasmus, who takes down low. There you see the dimensions. They haven't really changed much, and we'll talk more about how they really have renovated Kauffman Stadium. Pujols waiting to get a chance here in the third inning. 330 down the lines, 390, and 410 to straight away, 390 in the gaps. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Colby Rasmus. First round draft pick in 05 season as Ryan goes back to third.
Well, and you see that last pitch, 2-1 count. But again, Albert Pujols on deck. Bannister does not want to mess around with Rasmus, goes right after him, a fastball right down the middle.
So a very important role, the second hitter in the lineup with Tony La Russa. But Rasmus strikes out on the pitch in the dirt, and that ends it. But the Cardinals get a run. Royals make 2 errors. Kansas City, Chris Carpenter has a 1-run lead, and that run was earned despite the error by Guillen, and Kansas City ends up with 2 miscues. And Mark Teahen leading off in the bottom third of the order against the veteran Carpenter in the first pitch outside for a ball. Teahen is hitting .280 with 8 homers and 23 runs batted in, but trying to get out of the doldrums. 0 for 11 in his last 3 games, and lines this one to right field, and his first hit in 12 at-bats. It'll go all the way to the wall, chased by Ludwig. Teahen rounds second, headed for third base. Here comes the throw. It won't be in time, and a triple for Mark Teahen, leading off in the third for Kansas City.
Well, Teahen gets good extension and drives the ball to right center. Ludwig didn't look like he got a very good jump or picked the ball up initially. See, the ball just gets by and takes a bad angle. Instead of going deeper, he tries to cut the ball off. And Teahen, to his credit, from the very get-go, he's thinking third base all the way, especially when he sees it get by Ludwig.
And good hustle by Mark Teahen, and the Royals with the tying run at third. And chasing that first pitch is Miguel Olivo for the strike. Olivo, very solid catcher. Royals are his 5th club. Played with the White Sox, the Mariners, the Padres, and the Florida Marlins, hitting .252 10 homers, 27 runs batted in, and he homered as well last night for Kansas City. Curveball, and that's a great pitch for Carpenter. It misses there, and it's 1-1.
And Olivo not afraid to swing the bat. He's got some power, 10 home runs, but he swings and misses an awful lot. Over 50 strikeouts and only 155 at-bats.
The 1-1 and misses again on that sweeping breaking ball, and the count 1-2 strikes. Carpenter has more strikeouts than hits allowed coming into this game, which is nothing short of sensational. He has struck out 37, only 30 hits given up coming into this game. He's given up 1 hit and 1 strikeout. And Olivo strikes out on 3 pitches, and there's 1 down. Second strikeout for Carpenter. Carpenter leading the National League with a 1.59 earned run average. Talked about how opposing hitters hitting 169. As good as it gets. Mitch Meyer, the center fielder, batting 9th in the order, fouls it at the plate for a strike.
Well, you're talking about as good as it gets. Not only is he a dominant pitcher, but all of these Royals hitters outside of Jose Guillen are seeing Carpenter for the first time. So not only is he a great pitcher, but now they have no idea how the ball breaks, the movement, his tendencies, patterns, makes it that much more difficult to hit.
And it's interesting on these pitches. Schumacher has been rushing into the infield grass, as has Ryan. So the infield not quite playing in, but they are when the pitcher starts his deliveries. And Meyer swings and misses 1 and 2.
And really the reason for that is to try to get the runner at third to think, okay, we're playing back, so we're going on contact. But now you see him run in, you think, well, I can't really go. It doesn't really do much except put the infielders in motion.
Here they come again, and the pitch low and inside, and Molina making the stop. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I mean, getting back to that crashing, the only way that works is if the guy at third base, the runner, is not paying attention and has his head in the sand. Otherwise, he can see the infielders come in.
Tian with a leadoff triple. Olivo struck out, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Meyer, who reaches and fouls this off to the right. So the count remains 2 and 2. Coming into this game, the Royals are 8 games under 500. And you can say, well, they're really struggling after having a good early start. 6.5 behind Detroit, the leaders, and the Tigers are beating the Milwaukee Brewers 7-2. So not good news for Kansas City. Good news for the Cardinals, because if Tigers go on and win and the Cardinals win today, Cardinals will move back into first place in the National League Central. Full count to Meyer, and to Jesus, the leadoff hitter, on deck. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's grounded right to Schumacher, who is playing in, will hold the runner and throw out Meyer for out number 2.
Well, and here you've got the infield in right now, and that allows the Cardinals to prevent Tehan from running. If they're playing back, he obviously goes immediately on contact, but because infield is in, Tehan is not going to risk trying to score, thus preventing the run.
So they're 2 down, and here is David DeJesus, who flied out to Ankiel and left his first time. 1-0 in favor of the Cardinals. Royals had a man at third, nobody out here in the third. Now they're 2 down. Infield moves back, and a call strike to the Royals left fielder. Interesting, DeJesus has the second lowest leadoff on-base percentage behind Jimmy Rollins, of all people. Only has 1 stolen base. That's not what you expect from the leadoff hitter, as the pitch is inside for a ball.
No, and the leadoff guy has been Coco Crisp. He's been out. He goes to see Dr. James Andrews on Monday, a possible torn labrum, which could spell the end of the season. But, to a man, we've talked to people in this organization, and they just ran and raved about how important Coco Crisp has been.
And a bouncer slowly hit Pujols over to Carpenter, and he makes the play to retire the side. So the Royals waste a leadoff triple. After 3, the Cardinals lead it 1-0. Valspar Paint, Valspar, the beauty goes on. By Carfax, free at your used car dealer. Just say, show me the Carfax. And by Bank of America Home Loans, starting now, home has a new address. To the fourth inning we go, and Albert Pujols takes a ball, fly to center field, his first time up. So here is Pujols, who had a rare day off in the last game of the Tiger series, and takes ball two balls and no strikes. Recently had a head cold, but a phenomenal player, and strike called. People are saying, arguably maybe the best right-handed hitter of all time.
Well, the numbers absolutely support that. What he's done so far in his career.
Check swing, and the first base umpire, Paul Nert, said he did not go around, so it's 3-1.
And you talk about, the measuring stick now is OPS. That's on-base percentage plus slugging percentage. And he's got the highest of any right-handed hitter to ever play the game.
Comebacker, and Bannister makes the play, 1 out in the third inning. We talked with Tony La Russa, the Cardinals manager, about his upcoming All-Star appearance as a coach.
Well, if you love the game, the fact that you're around the greatest players on the face of the earth is a real kick. I love the workout, just watching these guys, how easy they make things look, and then the way they exchange pleasantries and renew acquaintances, and then the next day you actually do play for something that counts. I mean, it's not I don't think it's so much home field advantage as the shouting rights. Guys get into that.
Albert Pujols came out after a 4.5 yesterday. What's his status?
Yesterday he had some tightness in his leg, and he didn't want to come out. But when we got the extra couple runs, we thought we'd protect him, and I asked him today he's good to go. He's probably be a little bit careful running.
Thanks, Tony.
Right.
Not bad for a law school graduate. And, of course, that's referring to early in La Russa's career when he had his team in first place with the White Sox, wanted to be a coach at the All-Star game. And Harvey Keene of the Milwaukee Brewers said, no, he's just a law school graduate. He shouldn't coach. And so it's, kind of a laughing thing now with the Cardinals manager. As Chris Duncan takes strike one, Ludwig fly to Meyer in center field, so 2 out in the Cardinal fourth.
Well, ironic also that year, I think Tony went on to win 90-some-odd games, almost 100 ball games with that White Sox ball club.
That was his first managerial job, slapped to the left side of the infield, and Duncan is retired by Hernandez. A quick 1-2-3 inning, again only 8 pitches, thrown by Bannister. 7. Royals come up in the bottom of the 4th inning, trailing the Cardinals 1-0. Luis Hernandez, Billy Butler, Mike Jacobs, the 2-3-4 batters in the order, and bluffing in a bunch and taking a strike is Hernandez, who bounced to Schumacher at second. His first time up. Hernandez will turn 25 this coming Friday. Royals with a big opportunity last inning and could not score. Martin with a triple into the right center field gap. Left at third as Carpenter struck out Olivo. Meyer bounced to Schumacher, and then De Jesus with a comebacker, or with a Pujols to Carpenter play. And here's the 0-2. Strike 3, and that will be the 3rd strikeout of the game for Carpenter. 1 gone here in the 4th inning. Carpenter looking for his 5th win in 6 decisions, and facing Billy Butler, the first baseman, who struck out on a called 3rd strike in the 1st. Broken bat, 1 hopper to Schumacher on the outfield grass, and there are 2 down here in the Royals' 4th. And now it's time for a DirecTV game break. Here's Chris Myers.
All right, Dick, Indians and Cubs tied at 4, top of the 13th. That's David Patton pitching, and Luis Valbuena with his 2nd home run of the game. First career multi-homer game for him. 5-4 Indians, bottom of the inning after the Cubs tie. Kerry Wood, the one-time Cub, with a wild pitch, and Andres Blanco scores the game winner. The comeback Cubs rally to pull it out 6-5 in 13. Watch your favorite Major League Baseball team no matter where you live with DirecTV.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. And so the Cubs, with that extra inning magic, could move to within 2 games of the lead if the Brewers go on and lose to the Tigers. They were trailing 7-2. Mike Jacobs, the designated hitter, the count 1-0, walked his first time up and erased on a double play. There's a call strike, 1-1.
Well, this is a guy hitting in the middle of the lineup that has to provide the power, provide the extra base hits. I mean, that's one thing that this Royals ball club really lacks.
On the outside corner, another curveball, 1-2.
Is any type of presence. You know, they're a team that, you know, they've got some players that have some potential, but they haven't realized that potential. And, you know, there is a question of how good can some of these guys be.
Jacobs came over in a trade from the Florida Marlins, as you see Jose Guillen on deck. And the pitch, strike 3 and a 1-2-3 inning. So 2 strikeouts this inning, 4 in the game for Carpenter. Cardinals come up in the 5th inning. Yadier Molina, Cardinal catcher, take a strike, and we want to welcome the viewers who have just joined us from Springfield in Missouri. Cardinals leading 1-0 in this cross-state rivalry, the I-70 interleague battle. Molina robbed of a hit by Hernandez in the 1st inning, the hardest to strike out in the National League. So real good judge of the strike zone. Up and in. And it's 2-1 to Molina.
You see this pitch gets away from Bannister, up out of the zone, obviously. Molina, though, able to recognize it. And what he does correctly is turn that front shoulder into the pitch. A lot of guys will open up, especially younger guys. You open yourself up, you're susceptible to getting hit in the chest or face.
And there's a strike. Slider is in there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brian Bannister, 28-year-old from Scottsdale, Arizona. And the best outing of the year last Sunday, 8 scoreless innings against the Cincinnati Reds as the Royals swept the Reds and actually had a 4-game winning streak and thought they were on their way a little bit, trying to regain that early season swagger that they had. But then, of course, after beating the Diamondbacks in the first of the series, losing 2 games by identical scores of 12-5 and last night 10-5. Here's the 2-2 to Molina. Foul on the screen.
Well, and, that's what Trey Hillman was telling us prior to the game, is that, look, they're only a week away as far as playing good baseball, a week of good baseball away from really making a jump in the standings. I mean, nobody has really run away with anything in the Central, and everybody has their deficiencies. So he's still got confidence, and he's still excited about what the Royals can do this year.
And a bunch of guys on the disabled list, 7 to be exact. And there's a shot to center field and a leadoff base hit by Yadier Molina here in the 5th inning. And talking about the Royals, we caught up with Trey Hillman, the second-year Kansas City manager, who mentioned the fact that run production has been the #1 culprit.
Yeah, we've had difficulty scoring runs, mixing and matching the lineup with some of the injuries that we've had, and trying to get somebody hot at the top and get the guys to slug at the same time throughout the middle. It's been challenging, but we'll keep battling through it. We've gotten beat handily the last 3 games, but at least we've put 5 runs on the board the last 3.
Trey, defensively, you guys have struggled as of late. What do you do as a manager to help that?
Keep working. It's really the only thing you can do. Keep working. Try not to overwork them, especially as the weather heats up. But especially during the homestands, we're out here working individually. And we do a PFP session with all the infielders and the pitchers, just going back over the plays at least once a homestand.
Well, Trey, thanks very much. Good luck, and good luck being the coach of the All-Star game.
Thank you very much, fellas. Appreciate you having me on.
And that ought to be a great moment for Trey Hillman. We heard Tony La Russa talk about how he gets excited being at the All-Star game, which will happen to be in St. Louis, exclusively on Fox on July the 14th. Khalil Green is the batter. So Trey Hillman will join Don Wakamatsu, the manager of the Seattle Mariners. And it's interesting, Joe Madden picking 2 first-year managers to be on his staff for the All-Star game, and what a thrill it would be for them.
Well, and you look at that way that's set up. You've got La Russa and Torrey. I mean, 2 guys destined for the Hall of Fame as managers. Wakamatsu and Hillman over here just starting their careers as young managers. Quite a contrast.
And, of course, the other coach, Joe Torre, of course, had some big years with the St. Louis Cardinals going back to St. Louis. And Khalil Green with a fly ball toward the line. Could be trouble. And it is caught right at the base of the wall. And Molina, going back to first, gets back there safely. Khalil Green coming very close to hitting this one out. And De Jesus, good outfielder, tracked it down all the way.
They see De Jesus getting a good jump, and you see it's kind of curved out there. Recognizes where he is in relation to the wall. He's watching, he looks, see how he keeps looking to the wall, catches it, and then hurries it back in. Now you see Molina, he's running He's going to get out to second base just in case DeJesus doesn't grab it. You see him, he touches second, and then he retouches second on his way back to first. A lot of guys, I shouldn't say a lot, but have a tendency not to retouch second base on their way back to first. They would thus be called out.
Great instruction for you young players. Once you cross that bag, you better touch it on the way back, as Brendan Ryan takes ball one. So Molina on at first with 2 down. Yadier Molina, an outstanding defensive catcher, and this is a very solid Cardinal team. And you mentioned some of the players going on the disabled list. A lot of juggling done by Tony La Russa. And the breaking pitch by Ryan pops it up. Billy Butler has a play in foul territory and makes the catch look like it was getting away from him. Makes the play, and the Cardinals with a hit lead 1, middle of the 5th, 1-0, St. Louis. Hands. Chris Carpenter on the mound. The Cardinals leading 1-0. It'll be Guillen, Callaspo, and Tien here in the bottom of the 5th inning for the Royals. Call strike to Guillen, who bounced into a double play started by third baseman Khalil Green in the second. And in tight, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, and Guillen is one of the proven guys as far as being able to produce runs, drive the ball, and they really need him to get going.
30 runs batted in, jammed, and Ryan makes the play for out number 1 here in the 5th inning. And here is today's Gillette Trivia question. Who holds the Cardinals record for most home runs at the All-Star break? Albert Callaspo. Switch hitting shortstop who fly to left his first time up. Stepping in against Chris Carpenter. And the first pitch, ball 1. Royals trying to get their footing back. It's been a long drought for them. Since 1994, their only winning season has been 2003 campaign. And of course, for many, many years, they were the dominant team, along with the Yankees in the American League.
Well, and they have a reason to be excited, at least in the future. They have Zach Greinke anchoring the staff. You've got Gil Mesh as well. Sidney Ponson should be coming back. Bannister is thrown well. They like Soria at the end of the game, so they've got a nucleus from which to build.
Soria has only 7 saves, and of course he's been hurt, and right now not able to pitch in back-to-back games. And and the Royals haven't been in that many save opportunities anyway, and that's why they are last in the league in that department. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's a line drive left field. It's going to be a foul ball, so we'll do it again with the count even.
Well, and that's what Trey Hillman was telling us is when they could have used him, they went on a trip, and they ended up going 3-on-3 on the road trip. They could have easily been 5-1, but they didn't have Soria. They couldn't use him. And now that he's ready to throw, they haven't had any save opportunities as of late. It just hasn't worked out from a timing standpoint for this Royal Ball Club.
Certainly not the last 3 games.
No.
Carpenter's 2-2 pitch, and the count is full, 3-2 to Cayaspo. Carpenter came into the game with 7 walks and 37 strikeouts. He has struck out 4 and walked only 1. Ball 4, and Cayaspo is on. Well, baseball's biggest stars go head-to-head for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event, as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2009 MLB All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 14th, live from St. Louis at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, only on Fox. And will Chris Carpenter be there? We know that man will be there. The 66 All-Star Game was the last one in St. Louis, then the new Busch Stadium, which of course has given way to a newer Busch Stadium. The game featured 12 future Hall of Famers, and the National League won 2-1. Maury Wills singled in the 10th to score. Tim McCarver, who will be in the broadcast booth with Joe Buck for the Midsummer Classic. 1 out, 1 on. Martin, the 1-0 pitch, way behind that fastball. 1-1.
Well, Tehan, the only one that's really hit the ball hard off of Carpenter so far today. Hit that triple. Got Cayaspo at first base, who has no stolen bases at all this year. The second baseman, you find that uncharacteristic.
Here's the 1-1 breaking pitch, and it's 2-1 to Martin, who had his first hit in 12 at-bats with that triple to start the third. There is Olivo, who struck out with a man at third and nobody out. And then Meyer and De Jesus couldn't get the ball out of the infield. And Carpenter set down the Royals. So it's still 1-0. And a pop-up wide of third. And a play for Khalil Green. He's got it for out number 2.
When you talk about the opportunity that the Royals had earlier, this isn't a team that can miss opportunities or forego opportunities. They don't have the offense. Their pitching hasn't been great. They defensively have struggled. So when they do have those chances, they have to make the most of them.
And here's Miguel Olivo, struck out his first time up. You mentioned his home run hit last night, his 10th of the year. And in 84 games last season, he hit 12 homers. Second year with the Royals, 8th in the major leagues. So they're 2 down. Cayaspo is the runner at first, and 0-1 the count to the Royals catcher.
Well, and as we mentioned, Olivo, he is not going to get cheated. As you mentioned, he talked about the power that he's displayed. The problem is that there's a lot of swing and misses in between those home runs.
Olivo doesn't bite. He did the first time he was up, and the count 1-1. Carpenter has given up 1 hit, that leadoff triple, has struck out 4 and walked 2. And the count now 1-2 as Olivo then again goes chasing.
Well, that's the thing. He can be pitched to now with 55 strikeouts, only 2 walks. As a pitcher going against him, that just get it somewhere near the strike zone, somewhere near the plate, and he'll probably offer at it.
Just getting a piece of that breaking ball. So Chris Carpenter with the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. The Cy Young Award winner in the National League 4 years ago when he went 21-5. Mentioned, what about the All-Star game? Even though he has it's only his 9th start, has been an All-Star 2 years. And that pitch very nearly hit Olivo. And the count 2-2.
Yeah, off speed that just got away from Carpenter, and Olivo turning into it. That's a situation when you're behind in the count that you almost want to take one there. Let it hit you.
And a breaking ball, fair ball down the left field line after the dive by Khalil Green. Rounding second is Cayaspo, who'll go to third. The throw to second not in time, and Olivo is in there with a double. So both hits by the Royals against Carpenter of the extra base variety. Runners at second and third, 2 down.
Well, here off speed that just rolls on up there. Olivo waits back on it and sends it down the line. See Khalil Green moving over to third base now. That's more of a reactionary position than the shortstop, where you can show some quickness, quick feet, and have some range.
And so here with the Royals with another chance. There are 2 out. And Mitch Meyer bounced out to Schumacher at second his first time up, and a line drive foul down the first base line. Meyer called up from AAA on April the 16th when Alex Gordon, the third baseman, went on the disabled list. He has started in all 3 outfield positions, and Trey Hillman said he's the man to take Coco Chris' spot. So the runner at third, Cayaspo, Olivo on at second. 2 down, 1-1 the count to Meyer.
Well, you see Carpenter's having some trouble locating the breaking ball. Almost hit Olivo, then hung one that Olivo drove down the line. This last one a bit outside. As a hitter now, you have to look for a fastball because you realize the breaking ball, he can't get over the plate.
Tying run at third, go ahead run at second. Big swing and a miss on the breaking pitch, and it's 1-2.
And Carpenter comes right back with the breaking ball. And see, that's what makes him a great pitcher, because as a hitter, you're thinking, look, he can't get that over. He's having trouble. He's going to go to another pitch. Carpenter says, ha, I'll fool you.
What
Come
about
right
now?
back with it. Yeah.
What about now? 1-2 pitch, fastball in tight, and it's 2-2.
Well, this is that fastball that Greg Maddux made so famous. He started in at the hip of the left-handed hitter, and then it just comes back over the corner of the plate. Paul Schreiber, the home plate umpire, doesn't give it to him.
Runners at second and third, and the fastball just missing there inside, and the count is full. So Carpenter has a full count to Meyer with David DeJesus, the leadoff hitter. There he is, hoping to get a chance with the bases loaded or better for the Royals, who trail the Cardinals 1-0.
And this will not be a hittable strike. It'll be something on the corner because first base is open.
Here's the 3-2 pitch, and a foul ball, this time down the left field line. So Meyer, at this at-bat, Eric flirting with both foul lines.
Well, he is, and you see Molina set up inside for that pitch. He wanted that fastball in at Meyer's hip to break over the inside part of the plate. But Carpenter leaves it out over the plate. You see, look at the glove, how it moves out to the outer part of the plate. As I said, he's going to go for a corner strike here. Does not want to get a big part of the plate.
Again, the 3-2 pitch. And strike 3, the curveball on the outside corner, and Meyer goes down on strikes. And the Royals leave 2 runners in scoring position. Albert Pujols will be hitting third as the Cardinals come up in the 6th. Get DirecTV. By Gillette Fusion, Gillette's closest, most comfortable shave. And by Travelers Insurance in Sync. So a pitcher's duel in Kansas City as Cardinal and Royal fans sit side by side. 250 miles apart in this great state of Missouri, and Skip Schumacher leading off. 0 for 2 on the day. Schumacher takes ball one, and Chris Myers, to tell you what, Father's Day really fits the Skip Schumacher story to a T.
And his father, Dick, Wayne Schumacher, watching on TV, says when he retires, which will be in the next year and a half, he wants to buy a place near his son so he can watch him in person. His father works for the LA County Beaches and Harbor, and he would drive more than 70 miles, so his son had the best baseball environment growing up. At age 7, he had Skip practicing throwing a ball from center field, hitting a bucket at home plate. If he hit it, he'd get ice cream. Now, recently, when Skip was moved to the infield, he called his dad right away to help him field ground balls, which his dad ran from his lunch break to go out and do. He said he's always been there for me. Skip talking about his father, and his father says that's what dads do. Happy Father's Day, Wayne Schumacher.
And thank you, Chris. And, of course, he probably helped him at the plate as well, as you see Schumacher with a line drive single to start things off for the Cardinals here in the 6th inning. So I think they hit as many as 150 fungos to him to try to work him out at second base. And Skip Schumacher, the first Cardinal to switch from the outfield to second base since Red Schoendienst in the mid-40s. Here's Colby Rasmus, who swings and fouls the first pitch off to the right. And any time you can mention Red Schoendienst in a Cardinal broadcast, you've done a good deed. One of the all-time great icons in St. Louis baseball history.
Yeah, one of the few, and in fact, I think the only to be in a World Series as a player, a coach, and a manager. It's your little trivia for the day there, Dick.
I like it. 0 for 2 is Rasmus, and that's in the dirt. Rasmus, we talked about his .331 average against right-handed hitters, but not just the singles hitter, as you see the defense by the Royals. .561 slugging percentage. So Colby Rasmus, value, line drive hitter, run producer, 28 RBIs on the year. 1-1 pitch on the outside corner, 1-2.
Well, and this is a real important hitter for Bannister. You see Rasmus from Alabama. He broke the high school record, home run single season, held by a former Royal, pretty good ball player, Bo Jackson. Talk about giving back to the family there, bought a home for his parents.
Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Schumacher on at first as the Cardinals look for a little breathing room here in the top of the 6th inning. If you've just joined us, we had a 90-minute rain delay, and the weather is beautiful right now for the second game of this 3-game series. And there's the man, Albert Pujols, on deck for St. Louis. Nobody out. The 2-2 pitch down low. Good stop by Olivo. And when we say there's the man, of course, it used to be Stan the Man, and you'd have to say the great two faces of Cardinal baseball history, if you had a Mount Rushmore with two, would be Stan Musial and that man, Albert Pujols.
Yeah, and that man on deck right now, if you're the hitter upright, Colby Rasmus, 3-2, you're going to get a pitch to hit right now. It's not going to be something nibbling or whatever, because you'll be in real trouble first and second with Pujols up.
Here's the 3-2 pitch, and Rasmus pops it up to the left side of the infield. Mark Teahan making the catch for the out. One away, and Schumacher back to first. Once again, here is today's Gillette trivia question. Who holds the Cardinals record for most home runs at the All-Star break? And the answer, Mark McGwire, 37 in 1998 at the break.
See Big Mac right there getting that extension. I mean, he was the only player that while I played, I'd come out early to the field to watch him take BP. I mean, it was an absolute display.
And he has helped a lot of the Cardinal hitters from afar. He hasn't gone to spring training, but he has helped many of the hitters as Pujols steps in. And Pujols hits a drive deep to left center field, going back, and this one's gone. A home run. Albert Pujols, number 24. And the Cardinals lead it 3-0 as Schumacher scores in front of him.
We'll take a good look at this location, right down the middle of the plate. And you're throwing it to a guy that comes around once every 40 or 50 years. And when his career is all said and done, could go down as the greatest right-handed hitter the game has ever seen.
And just really owns Kansas City pitching, especially here at Kauffman Stadium.
Hey, look how patient he is. He keeps the hands inside. And again, Bannister leaves the ball out over the middle of the plate.
So Albert Pujols now with 62 runs batted in to go along with his 24 home runs. And here is Ryan Ludwig with a line drive, single to left. DeJesus gets it back. So a productive inning for the Cardinals. Schumacher with the leadoff base hit, and with one out, Pujols blasted a 2-run homer. He's got 30 family and friends here, and boy, did he enjoy that. As you take a look at his first 9 seasons, Pujols second to just Ralph Kiner in home runs.
I mean, you talk about some of the lists that he is on. I mean, you're talking about Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and Albert Pujols. I mean, he is among the greatest. And I don't think we have a real appreciation. We watch him day in and day out. We kind of take him for granted. But we also have to understand this is one of the greatest to ever don a baseball uniform.
And he lives up to his tremendous ability as a baseball player, as a man. Here's Chris Duncan, the designated hitter, 0 for 2, struck out and bounced to short. Fouls off the first pitch. So Pujols, 10 of his 12 home runs against the Royals have come here at Kauffman Stadium. Three to nothing now. St. Louis in front. Still one out, and Ludwig, the runner at first. In there for the strike. Good pitch by Bannister right at the knees. 0-2.
Well, and Pujols gets the credit for the home run, obviously, but you have to give a lot of credit to Skip Schumacher. Leads off the inning, gets on base. Somebody on when Pujols comes to the plate.
And that bounced in front. Again, Olivo called upon to make the stop.
Yeah, nice job by Olivo blocking the ball, keeping Ludwig at first base. But again, it all revolves when we talk about the Cardinal offense and what they do. You see Olivo getting down, just smothering the ball to keep it in front of him, not trying to pick it or anything.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Ludwig, the base runner, and there's a ground ball hit to the right side. Piaspo gets the double play. 4-6-3 double play, but the Cardinals get 2 runs on Pujols' 24th homer. Play.
George Orta at the plate. Everybody remembers this 85 Game 6 World Series. Clark flips the ball to Todd Worrell. Don Denkinger calls him safe. They go on to score 2 runs. You see now, look at the replay. What was he? Our Flomax replay showed that he was out. They called him safe. The Royals go on to score 2 runs that inning and eventually go on to win the World Series.
And, of course, that spiced up this rivalry between the Cardinals and the Royals. And here is David DeJesus, first pitch swinging. Grounds it to Schumacher, and there's one away here in the 6th inning. And now here is a direct TV game break, Chris Myers.
Hi, Dick. Brewers in Detroit, couple of first-place teams when the day started, and it's top third here. That's Ryan Braun, up, out, and gone. Home run number 15 to get the Brewers close. It was 3-2, the bottom of the third. Miguel Cabrera with a 2-run homer. The Tigers add a couple more. They have a 9-5 lead, bottom of the 8th, and the Cards, if they win, as you know, and Milwaukee loses, they could move into first place, Dick.
All right, Chris, and the Cubs would pick up a win as well with their 13th inning victory today, and that's not good news for the Kansas City Royals, who would then fall 7.5 out of the lead as Luis Hernandez, with the count 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out, missing inside 2 and 1. But, Kansas City came into today's play just 1 game behind the White Sox, who are in 3rd in the loss column, and 3 behind Minnesota in 2nd. So it's that kind of a year. And there is a comebacker to Carpenter. And there are 2 down here in the 6th inning. 2 down in the 6th to Billy Butler.
Well, you talk about the Royals falling back in the standing, and that's one of the concerns is you don't want to go into the All-Star break too far back where you just think as a player, man, this is a lost season. And then those last 2 months, they become extra long.
Here's Billy Butler, native of Jacksonville, 23 years old. Had a 9-game hitting streak earlier this year, and takes ball 1. Butler hitting 3rd in the order today, was called out on strikes and bounced out to Schumacher at 2nd. Bounder to 3rd, Green backing up across the diamond, and a 1-2-3 inning, all ground balls for Carpenter. After 6, it's 3-0 Cardinals. Homer, and he is right behind Chase Utley in the overall voting lead for the National League All-Star game. And Albert Pujols, of course, leading first baseman. And the top vote getter behind the plate is the batter here, Yadier Molina, leading off. And in the first pitch with a ball hit out to center field, and Meyer is there. And there's one gone here in the Cardinals' 7th inning. And during our rain delay, we had a conversation with Michael Milken. Well, on the eve of Father's Day, it's great to have Michael Milken talking with us today, who, as you know, Major League Baseball's teamed up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation. And, Michael, first of all, the seriousness of prostate cancer. You are a survivor.
I've had prostate cancer, and I'm happy to be with you today. But, you know, cancer is not a death sentence, and there's more than 10 million Americans today alive and well who've had cancer. I'm happy to be one of them.
Tell us about the funding, what it's for, and at the same time, talk about the things that people can do to try to keep it away.
Well, the theme of this program in our 14th year is Keep Dad in the Game. And it culminates on Father's Day tomorrow. And we raise money via home runs. And the idea is come out to the ball game, take your dad to the ball game, and root for home runs. And there's 60 selected games, including this one, Kansas City and St. Louis.
And I know that there are a lot of people at home would like to get a lot more information. Tell us about your website.
Well, the simple website is PCF, Prostate Cancer Foundation, PCF.org. You can go there, learn about the Home Run Challenge, support from Major League Baseball. Fox has been fantastic. And the 60 games that count. We average about 130 home runs. We've had a lot of rain, including in Kansas City today, that has kept down the home runs, but we're hoping for a great day today.
Thank you for everything you've done for the Cancer Prostate Foundation. All right, Michael Milken, and he speaks from the heart, and the 2009 Home Run Challenge. And individuals can make a pledge by getting online, www.pcf.org or 1-800-798-CURE. As Rick Ankiel strikes out for out number 2. Donations can be made from May 15th and has been through Father's Day, which is tomorrow. So how timely is this?
Well, it is. And tomorrow, every home run is double as far as the money that is donated. And, you know, really a tremendous cause. And as Michael mentioned, you know, the number one diagnosed cancer outside of skin cancer for men.
2 down, Khalil Green with a swinging strike. He has flied out twice. Brian Bannister now with 3 strikeouts. Cardinals lead 3-0. They've out-hit the Royals 6-2. An unearned run back in the 3rd inning. And Keel singled, went to second on an error by Jose Guillen, and came around and scored on Brendan Ryan's base hit. And then Albert Pujols with a blast 2-run homer to left center field in the 6th. Pujols with a great gathering and his support. Family and friends, as we mentioned. I said, you got about 60? He says, well, certainly over 30 here for this one. And he has given him something to cheer about. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Green. And there's the Cardinal fan who caught the home run ball, sitting next to a Royal
Looks like a Royal fan. Yeah, Royal fan.
And all kinds of Albert Pujols jerseys on display here at Kauffman Stadium. Last night was the 6th sellout of the year, and it looks like they got number 7 this afternoon. They expected big crowds throughout, to no one's surprise, these 3 games.
Well, and the amazing thing, at least for me, we have the hour-and-a-half rain delay, and yet this place is still packed. I mean, nobody decided to go home. Everybody stayed.
It's an event, Eric, I guess, and no question about when these 2 teams hook up. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And Green lifts it in the air to center field. Playable for Mitch Meyer. 1-2-3 inning for Bannister. We've completed 6.5. 3-0 Cardinals. grilled chicken. Taste the unfried side of KFC. By Pepsi, every generation refreshes the world. And by One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of MLB, specially formulated to support prostate health. Royals batting in the 7th inning, trailing the Cardinals, and have managed only 2 hits off of Chris Carpenter, and it'll be Mike Jacobs, the designated hitter, followed by Jose Guillen and Albert Callaspo. The only 2 hits by the bottom third of the order against Carpenter. Mark Teahan's leadoff triple in the 3rd, and Miguel Olivo's double in the 5th. First pitch is up, ball 1. Talked about the Royals' 7-game win over the Cardinals in the 1985 World Series, and of course put its stamp on this rivalry. And the Kansas City Royals, they've had some dry times lately, but for a while they were a terror. And there's the 85 flag. And one of the greats who played for the Royals during their heyday happens to be the hitting coach of the Cardinals, Hal McRae. There he is, 15 years. Aggressive hustle, really epitomized what the Royals' style was all about. Foul ball. So Hal McRae comes back to Kansas City. And, of course, George Brett was the great one, but they had Willie Wilson, Amos Otis, John Mayberry, the left-handed power hitter, Frank White. And in this ballpark, which has really been renovated, it used to be artificial turf. So you know, Eric, and of course, everything was a shot to the alleys, extra bases, stolen bases, and a lot of speed by those Royals.
Yeah, and that great ball clubs during those days. And, you know, as you mentioned, though, Hal McRae, you know, for me growing up as a kid, Hal McRae and George Brett. You know, Hal McRae was a right-handed hitter, George Brett from the left side. You know, one year the two battled it down to the final day for a batting title. But what a great hitter Hal McRae was.
2-2 pitch, and Jacobs gets a piece of it and stays alive. And of course, on the pitching side, we know about Brett Saberhagen, Dennis Leonard, Quiz, the great closer. They got the George Brett Bridge out here over the highway. Royals 76, 77, and 78 were in the ALCS, losing to the Yankees all those years. And the count now full to Jacobs. They were in the World Series, losing to the Phillies in 1980 before winning everything in 85. There's Carpenter's pitch count at 89 right now. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Jacobs, leading off for the Royals. Strikes out on the fastball. Strikeout number 6 for Carpenter. 1 out in the 7th. Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball, congratulates Albert Pujols. Today's MLB clutch performer of the game, presented by Pepsi.
Well, we talked about it at the top of this show. You know, Albert Pujols offensively, you know, what he does, how difficult he makes it. He's doing it again this year.
1-0 at the time, and the 2-run homer giving the Cardinals a little breathing room, so it's 3-0. Learn more about the MLB Clutch Performer of the Month award at PepsiClutch.com. Jose Guillen, 0 for 2, bounced into a double play and grounded out to Khalil Green at third, and the count 1-1 to him. So Carpenter coming off his first loss of the year, and of course he was going against Cliff Lee of the Indians, who took a no-hitter into the 9th inning on Sunday night. So he lost to a great pitching performance. Guillen pops up. Yadier Molina halfway to the pitcher's mound, makes the catch for out number 2. And now it's time for the Smirnoff Ice game summary. So Pujols with the big blow. Carpenter has not given up a run in 6 2/3, and 12 first pitch outs today.
Yeah, he's been absolutely dominating. We mentioned Pujols offensively, and then what the Royals were going to have to deal with as far as the man on the mound, Chris Carpenter, and again making his case as the best pitcher in the game right now.
Albert Callaspo bounces it to Pujols, who will make the play unassisted. 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 8th. 3-0. The Cardinals lead. Saturday Baseball presented by Sears. And we go to the top of the 8th inning, and we're going to have a pinch hitter for Brendan Meyer. Joe Thurston will be batting for Meyer. Kids sometimes need a little boost to see the action on the field, and that's a young Royal fan out there. And, here in Kansas City, they have the splash zone area where fans, there where the fountains are, get into the act as Thurston swings and misses for strike one. So here's Joe Thurston. Only 4 big league starts prior to this year, and a ground ball to second baseman Calaspo. Calaspo makes the play, and the pinch hitter is retired, 1 gone here in the 8th inning. And that'll bring up Skip Schumacher, who was 1 for 3, singled his last time up, and came around and scored on the home run by Pujols. And there you see Brian Bannister, only 80 pitches thrown thus far. He had 8 in each of the first 2 innings. And here's Schumacher, and the first pitch missing, 1-0. So Bannister and Carpenter pitching superbly today.
Well, both of them pitched extremely well. Bannister, really the only inning was the inning he gave up the home run to Pujols, but it was the leadoff hitter, Skip Schumacher, who battled him, got down to first base. Then Colby Rasmus, number 2 hitter, worked him to a 3-2 count. He really had to labor. And then, of course, Pujols. Whack!
And a ground ball up the middle, fielded by Hernandez behind the bag, makes the play. Luis Hernandez has played a very sharp shortstop today for the Royals in only his 9th start. Here is the Hyundai in-game box score for the Cardinals. And there you see the long ball by Pujols and a couple of singles added on. So 6 hits in the game, but they've made them all count. Introducing the all-new 306 horsepower rear-wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe. 2 down, and here is Colby Rasmus, who is 0 for 3 after a 4-hit game last night. Misses the changeup, and it's strike 1.
Well, Colby Rasmus, he won't get credit for it, but that at-bat in the 6th where he ended up having Bannister go to a full count, he ended up eventually popping out. But that was something where Bannister had to work. He knew he had Pujols on deck, and it's almost as if he wasted a lot of his energy on Rasmus, because then when Pujols came to the plate, first pitch, home run.
And it's popped up into short left field. De Jesus makes the catch, a 1-2-3 inning, and the Royals bat in the 8th, down by 3. Sponsored by Smirnoff Ice. Please drink responsibly. By Catawet. And by Hyundai Assurance. A little certainty in uncertain times. And changes in the field for the Cardinals as the Royals come up in the bottom of the 8th inning. As Mark Teahan leads off, there's Joe Thurston who pinch hit, and he will go into play second base. Tyler Green is the new shortstop. And the first pitch is a call strike. So Skip Schumacher, there's Green, who was at second base, now goes to left field. And Rick Ankiel moves from left to center. One hopper to Tyler Green. Teahan is retired, and there's one gone in the 8th inning. One out for the Royals. 3-0 to score, and looking at Chris Carpenter, who has one complete game in his first 8 starts this year.
Well, very pitch efficient today, throwing the first pitch strikes, and then the Royals hitters being very aggressive, swinging at the first pitch, putting it in play, and here we are in the 8th. Carpenter been dominating.
Olivo takes a call strike. He has one of the 2 hits off of Chris Carpenter. A double with 2 out in the 5th inning. Royals had their chances. Not many, but they've had them. They had the leadoff man at third back in the 3rd inning on Teahan's triple. Second and third, 2 out in the 5th. And 0-2 now to Olivo. And Carpenter has closed the door effectively in each instance. As he got Olivo on a swinging strike. Meyer couldn't get the ball out of the infield, retired the side. And then Meyer was called out on strikes to end the threat in the 5th inning. 1-2 now to the Royals catcher.
Well, you have the dominance of Carpenter and then just the inexperience of this Royals lineup. I mean, they're young, they're hitters that need to still mature.
Ground ball, gloved nicely by Khalil Green. He makes the play for out number 2. The best defensive play by the Cardinals this afternoon, and there are 2 down.
Khalil Green has been very fluid at third. He's had a number of plays. You see him go make the play, gather himself, turn, under control, makes a good throw. He knows Olivo's running down to first, a slow runner.
And there you see the Hyundai in-game box score for the Royals, and only 2 hits, a triple by Teahan, a double by Olivo, and that's all she wrote. And bluffing the bunt is Meyer. Coming on in is Khalil Green, and it's taken for a ball 1-0. So 2 down here in the 8th inning. And what a job by Carpenter. Off-speed pitch. Way in front of that was Meyer, and it's 1-1. In the 3rd inning, Carpenter faced 4 hitters. He faced 5 Royals in the 5th. Other than that, has faced only 3 batters the rest of the game. Off-speed curve, it's 2-1.
Well, again, as I said, it's a function of his dominance and the Royals' inexperience. And this Royals ball club, a lot of swing and misses. You know, they don't hit as a team well for average. You know, they aren't a very patient team. You know, and when you face a guy like Carpenter, who, as we've said, is probably the best in the game right now, it's going to be a mismatch.
7 starts since coming off the DL with the strained left oblique. And a shot hit to right field. Ludwig over his head and off the wall. And Mitch Meyer will go into second with a 2-out double. So the 3rd hit of the game by the Royals, all extra base hits.
Well, Mitch Meyer battling right here and gets this pitch in the inner half of the plate. Drives it right over Ludwig's head. Ludwig hustling after it. But interesting, the only 3 hits, all extra base hits. Tony La Russa heading out to see how Carp is doing.
Well, Meyer had an opportunity back in the 3rd and again in the 5th inning. Couldn't do it, and now Tony La Russa has the left-hander Trevor Miller ready to come in the game, and we'll take a break. Zantac. Trevor Miller, the left-hander, relieving Chris Carpenter, who was brilliant this afternoon.
Well, he really was. And what I like about what Tony has done right now, you bring him in, so Carpenter, no way can he lose the game. He can only win. And with those numbers, that's what you do deserve, is a win.
David DeJesus looks at a slow curve for a strike. This is the 27th appearance for Trevor Miller. Pitched Thursday, a third of an inning, struck out the only batter he faced, and DeJesus 0 for 3 in this game. 2 outs. Mitch Meyer is on at second base. 3-1 the score. Cardinals lead. Sidearm delivery misses 1-1. Chris Carpenter leaves the game after working 7 2/3 innings, allowing 3 hits, has not allowed an earned run in his pitching performances in afternoon games all year.
I mean, he absolutely ridiculous, the numbers that he's put up this year. And he'd be among the league leaders in just about every category if he had enough innings to qualify. Because he was on the disabled list, has a minimal amount of innings, but ERA 1.59 coming in today, batting average, nobody's touching him. Slugging percentage, nobody's touching him.
Here's the 2-1 pitch, fouled off. So Carpenter, who came in with an ERA of 1.59. Next week, another exciting week of interleague action. Cubs, White Sox, the Windy City Showdown, Red Sox, Braves. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Sears returns next week at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific on Fox. Check your local listings for the game and start time in your area. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Meyer, the runner at second for the Royals. And another foul ball out of play. Trevor Miller in relief of Carpenter, pitched last year for Tampa Bay and had 3 appearances in the ALCS against Boston. Twice showed against the Phillies in the World Series. Here's Meyer with the lead. Meyer, by the way, bottom third of the order, Tien, Olivo, and Meyer, all with extra base hits. Those are the only 3. Good pitch by Miller, jammed him, and Jesus fouls it off.
Well, DeJesus doing a nice job of just fighting up there, staying alive, and again, the longer as a hitter you continue to foul off pitches, it gives you an opportunity for the pitcher to make a mistake. You get something that you can drive.
By the way, DeJesus 0 for 5 in his career against Trevor Miller. Here's the 2-2 pitch, full count.
But right now, Miller has got to go right after DeJesus. You don't want to walk him, bring the winning or tying run to the plate. You know, the worst that can happen right now is DeJesus runs into one and hits a 2-run shot. But you do not want to walk him.
Ryan Franklin, the closer for the Cardinals, in the bullpen for St. Louis. Here's the 3-2 pitch, ball 4, and DeJesus draws a walk. So runners now at first and second, and that will bring the tying run to the plate. And let's see if we have a pinch hitter. Now it's time for the Just for Men hair color Major League hold leaders from this season. Jeremy Affeldt of the Giants has the lead over Jason Mott of the Cardinals, and 7 others tied with 13. Just as these players keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. And the pinch hitter will be Willie Bloomquist. So Bloomquist getting a chance to play more, and Dave Duncan will come on and come out of the dugout, and he will signal right now for Ryan Franklin. So it's Duncan, the pitching coach, going with the closer right now as Bloomquist announces the pinch hitter for Hernandez, and another pitching change. We'll take a break. We'll return. Of his career high, making his 26th appearance, and coming on to face the pinch hitter, Willie Bloomquist.
Well, and this isn't uncommon for Franklin to come in and get a save. He's already saved 3 games this year. There's been an inning or more, and Bloomquist up at the plate. He's a pinch hitter. Came over from Seattle, not an everyday guy there. Has had some opportunities here, but not a lot of power. Got a slugging percentage of under 400. Again, this is a guy you go right after.
And hitting a lot better since he has been more of a full-time player, hitting .289 with a homer, 13 runs batted in, and 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter as he fouls off the first pitch for a strike. Mitch Meyer is on at second. He doubled with 2 out. And then Trevor Miller, in relief of Chris Carpenter, walked David DeJesus. And now Bloomquist batting for Hernandez, with Billy Butler hoping to get a chance here. So the tying run is at the plate. Here in the bottom of the 8th inning, the Cardinals lead the Royals 3-0. And a line drive base hit to center field, and they're going to send in Meyer. Throw comes to the infield, the runner scores, and it's now 3-1. Bloomquist knocking in his 14th run. Going to second is DeJesus, and Bloomquist with an RBI single, and now the tying runs are on base for Kansas City.
Well, a good job by Bloomquist coming off the bench and driving the ball up the middle. Sometimes in those situations where a home run will tie the game, as a hitter, you have a tendency to get excited and try to do too much. Here he shoots the ball up the middle, gives next hitter Billy Butler an opportunity to get the Royals tied, or with a home run, put them ahead.
So tenuous moments now for the Cardinals and Chris Carpenter. And Billy Butler, who is 0 for 3, but facing Ryan Franklin. 3-1 the score. Runners at first and second. 2 out here in the 8th inning. And the breaking ball on the outside corner for a strike. Joaquim Soria, the closer for the Royals, has been throwing. Butler in his career 0 for 1 against Ryan Franklin. So the run is charged to Carpenter, whose log is finished 7 2/3 innings for Chris Carpenter, giving up a run on 3 hits, walked 2, and struck out 6. 1 ball, 1 strike to Billy Butler, the third hitter in the Royals lineup, trying to make a late splash here in the 8th inning. With the Cardinals up 3-1, tying runners on base. And he chases a pitch, just gets a piece of it, and the count is 1-2. And Butler with a long home run last night for Kansas City.
Well, he got a hold of it last night, but again, the game was in a much different situation. The Cardinals have effectively put the thing away. This is a little different right now. And if you've watched the way that Franklin's gone after him, everything has been on the outer half of the plate. So I'd continue, if I were Butler, to look out there, because anything inside will be in off of the plate and not a strike.
2 down, 1-2. Runners at first and second for the Royals. In the dirt, good stop by Molina. No advance. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Ryan Franklin, who gave up the RBI single to the pinch hitter Bloomquist. As DeJesus at second, Bloomquist at first. Franklin was a starter. And his first year as a closer in his 9th year in the big leagues. On deck, Mike Jacobs. Here's the 2-2. And a ground ball to shortstop. Tyler Green bobbles it, and everybody is saved. Tyler Green with a routine ground ball commits the error, and now the Royals have the bases loaded and 2 out. And here's the play.
A bouncing ball. Butler comes in, and I'm not sure that, Green coming in, Butler not fast enough where you need to come in and make that one-handed play. You could probably stay back, boom, catch the ball, and make a good, strong throw. As I said, Butler from the right side, not a very fast runner. Not sure that Green really made the right play there.
So Tyler Green, it went in for Brendan Ryan. And now the Royal fans come alive. Mike Jacobs, 0 for 2 with a walk, and 2 for 4 against Ryan Franklin. So the tying run now in scoring position for Kansas City. The lead run is at first. Bases loaded, 2 out. First pitch, ball 1 to Jacobs.
Well, and Jacobs is a guy that is a swing and miss guy, but he can get a hold of some. He's got 10 home runs, but he also, coming into this game, 63 strikeouts, picked up 2 more, 65 now on the year.
DeJesus at third, Bloomquist at second, and Billy Butler on at first base. Royals had some golden opportunities earlier, went by the boards, and now trying to cash in, trailing by 2 runs. Bases loaded, 2 out. The 1-0 pitch. And a bluff to first base. No one was on the bag, and the count high 2-0 to Jacobs. Now Jacobs has the ability to hit the long ball. He hit 32 home runs and drove in 93 for the Marlins last year, both career highs.
Well, and right now as a hitter, you're looking for one pitch in one spot right now. Again, if it's a strike, you don't necessarily need to swing. It's got to be a pitch you can drive.
We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Royals finally making some noise. Can the Cardinals hold them off? 2-0 pitch fouled, and it's 2-1.
Well, Franklin goes with the off speed, and that kind of hung inside. Jacobs going after that. But again, you're in a 2-1 count. It still favors the hitter right now. The pitcher is in trouble. As a hitter, you don't have to be anxious. You don't have to be aggressive. Sit and look for a pitch that you can drive, because even if it is a strike, you still have one more to play with.
Jose Guillen would be next for the Royals. 2 balls and a strike. In there, fastball, strike 2, 2-2.
This fastball up and comes back over the plate. See Jacobs going after it and then laying off. Thinks it's probably a bit high. Not going to be able to get on top of that. Now he's got to guard the entire plate. I'm guessing Franklin's going to probably try to bust him hard inside.
36-year-old veteran of Spiro, Oklahoma. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bases are loaded for the Royals. Down low, and the count is full. Huge pitch coming up, and all Chris Carper can do is fiddle in the dugout and hope. Crowd on its feet. And time is called, and Molina will go out to talk to his pitcher as Soria is joined by Kyle Farnsworth in the Kansas City bullpen.
Well, and this is a spot, as a catcher, you go out and you tell Franklin, look, you've got a young hitter at the plate and a very aggressive hitter that likes to swing the bat, as evidenced by his number of strikeouts. A 3-2 situation with the bases loaded, 2 out. Very tough as a hitter to take a pitch and walk. It just isn't in your ego. You want to swing the bat and hit it. Molina going out to remind Franklin, look, just throw something around the plate. It doesn't necessarily have to be a strike. Jacobs will probably offer at it.
So here we go again, 3-2, 2 out. Foul ball past the first base coach, Rusty Kuntz. Ryan Franklin against Mike Jacobs. No place to put him. Cardinals lead by 2 runs. The bases are loaded. DeJesus, the runner at third. Bloomquist, who delivered a run-scoring pinch-hit single, is at second. And Billy Butler, who was safe on Tyler Green's error, would have gotten the Cardinals out of the inning. Again, the 3-2, and a drive hit to center field, and Keel is there, should make the play, and he does. So Ryan Franklin snuffs out the Royals. Cardinals still lead 3-1. top of the ninth for the Cardinals, who lead it 3-1, and exhaling and taking the deep breath, Tyler Green, after committing the error that could have really proved to be disaster for the Cardinals. So here's Kyle Farnsworth in relief of Brian Bannister, who worked 8 superb innings, gave up 3 runs, only 2 earned, 6 hits, struck out 4, did not walk a batter, gave up a home run to this man. Pujols, his 24th of the year, and the count 1-0 to Pujols. Tell you what, Pujols has done a great job, and we have broadcast Cardinal games. 368 average, 6 homers, 15 RBIs. Tell you what, may get under the skin of Kyle Farnsworth is what Pujols has done against him. 4 home runs and a 389 average. That's what Albert Pujols has managed against the veteran righty.
Now, he's done that against a lot of pitchers, so no reason to hang your head if you're Kyle Farnsworth.
Check swing, and it's 3-0 now. Farnsworth making his 26th appearance. Pitched last night, struck out the only batter he faced. Tigers and the Yankees last year. There is a strike, 3-1 to Pujols, who was 1 for 3, and that one was a beauty. A two-run homer in the 6th inning. Now with 24 homers, 62 runs driven in. Willie Bloomquist replacing Hernandez at short, pinch hit 4. There's a breaking ball over for a strike, and the count full.
Well, Farnsworth going 3-0 to Pujols has offered 2 breaking balls. And you know, these are breaking balls that are 90, 89. Farnsworth, one of the best arms in the game. Fastball can get it up there around 95, 96 miles an hour. Breaking ball, as we just saw, close to 90.
He's made at least 60 appearances in each of the last 6 years. You want the definition of workhorse? You're looking at him. Grounded foul, still 3-2 to Pujols.
And you saw what that was, another breaking ball. And that just shows you the respect that Farnsworth has for Pujols. Throwing breaking ball after breaking ball. And again, this is a guy that throws 95, 96 miles an hour.
3-2 to the leadoff hitter, Albert Pujols. Line drive, left field, near the line. And just foul, and not by much. And you pointed out how that wall kind of curls out, and that came very close to hitting the foul pole.
Yeah, amazing that Pujols can never get to that pitch. And you see, just keeps his hands inside. That back elbow is tucked, and his ability to keep that pitch fair just speaks volumes of his mechanics. And that pitch is a breaking ball up and in. You know, a lot of guys will pull that thing way foul. He's able to keep his hands inside and just push it right down the line. Almost hit a home run.
There you see what he's done compared to the other MVP seasons he's had, or the other years he has been the MVP. And they are respectable right there with it. And the foul at the plate. So Albert stays alive. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cardinals leading by a 3-1 score. They had an unearned run in the 3rd inning. Brendan Ryan with a single, knocking in Rick Ankiel, who led off with a base hit, advanced on an error. And then Pujols hitting the 2-run homer in the 6th to make it 3-0 before the Royals got a run and left the bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th. And Pujols strikes out. You don't often see that, but he goes down for out number 1. Now it's time for sounds of the game. How about Cowboy Joe West in action?
What are you out here trying to bribe us?
No, I'm just trying to make life happen.
That's right, yeah. I know. Yeah, these 2 guys can deal.
Boy, they're working quick.
They can pitch.
I'm telling you, 7th inning in less than 2
But
hours.
listen, you're going to have to tell your director that you can't be coming out here dressed like that. You got to dress a little better. You come out here on the field, you got to look more professional than this. You know, that's terrible. You're like you're going to the beach.
I'm sorry, Cowboy. I'm just trying to make you guys happy.
And he's talking about some of our production people who don't need much of a defense. It's a hot, humid day. Jeff Gowen, our producer. Jim Lynch is our director. And our thanks to our production and technical crew here in Kansas City. We had a 90-minute rain delay and then kind of breezed through the first 7 innings of this one. 3-1 the score. The Cardinals lead. Top of the 9th inning, 1 out. Ryan Ludwig, 1 for 3, singled his last time up, facing Kyle Farnsworth. 1-2 now to Ludwig.
And I need to amend my further comments when I said 95, 96. That was 99 as far as a fastball right there. And as I said, Farnsworth just coming at you with hard stuff.
Took something off the pitch, and Ludwig pops it up short right field. Could be trouble, and it's going to drop for a hit. Ludwig will stay at first base and just placed perfectly as Butler, Cayaspo, and Guillen all charged to no avail, and Ludwig with his second hit of the game.
Well, they call that area the Bermuda Triangle, referencing there's nothing there. And, really the only play is for the right fielder who's coming in. The second baseman can run out, but the closer he gets to the outfielder, you start to worry a little bit about a collision. But if anybody can make that play, it's usually going to be the right fielder.
Yeah, Cayaspo really had too much territory.
Yeah.
So here's Chris Duncan, who is 0 for 3, struck out, bounced to short, hit into a double play. So Ludwig has 2 hits, 2 of the 7 hits for the Cardinals. Runner at first with 1 out, top of the 9th inning. Strike 1 to Duncan, the DH. And a base hit to center field. And Ludwig hustles around second, will go to third. And holding at first is Duncan with his first hit of the game. And the 8th hit for the Cardinals, the second this inning. So with 1 out, runners at the corners.
Well, it doesn't matter how hard a guy throws if they leave the pitches out over the plate or they miss their spot. The Duncan gets good extension on it. Just drives the ball up the middle. Lets Farnsworth supply all the power.
John Bale has been working in the bullpen. And Trey Hillman out to the mound. And all of the infielders, catcher is well out there. Well, while we have a moment, MLB and People Magazine are recognizing individuals who have made a difference in their community. Go to peopleallstars.com. Vote for your favorite everyday all-star who could represent your club and be honored at the 2009 All-Star Game in St. Louis, July 14th on Fox. Leslie Barrett from Great Bend, Kansas. John Lair of Pittsburgh, Kansas. And Ann Hull from Leawood, Kansas. Congratulations. Representing the Royals. So after the conference at the mound, here is Yadier Molina. And Molina, one of the true clutch hitters for the Cardinals, 1 for 3 today, with a chance to add to their 3-1 lead.
Well, and a contact guy, all he does is want to get the ball in the air, a sacrifice fly.
And a base hit to right field. Coming in to score is Ludwig with the 4th Cardinal run. Stopping at second is Duncan. And there is that man, Yadier Molina, with a timely base hit, his 23rd RBI to make it a 4-1 game.
Molina has a plan every time he goes to the plate. Here in this situation, he just wants to keep the ball in the air. Farnsworth, it's up in the air. Molina pops it into right field, and there they get another run. And Cardinals are up 4-1.
John Bale is in. individuals who have made a difference in their community. And here are the Cardinal representatives. Voting will end on June 24th, and the winner will attend the All-Star game on Fox. New pitcher, left-hander John Bale, facing Rick Ankiel, who fouls off the first pitch. So 4-1 lead now as the Cardinals answer the Royals run in the bottom of the 8th with a run here. 10th game of the year for Bale. And pitched Wednesday, 2/3 of an inning against Arizona. So there you see Duncan and Molina, the base runners. And Yadier Molina with a timely RBI single. And Keel 1 for 3 with a base hit and scored one of the 4 runs. Off-speed curveball fouled off, 0-2.
Well, going back to Molina, I mean, a great at-bat. You see Rick Ankiel up at the plate, but for me, Molina, he's got a plan when he goes to the plate, and it's not just up there reacting and swinging. He knows what he wants to do. That situation, trying to get the ball in the air, trying to pop it through the right side, and then he goes out and executes. It's not just about going up there and swinging. It's about having a plan, and he does that as well as anyone.
Swing and a miss on the sweeping off-speed breaking ball, and Ankiel strikes out for out number 2.
Well, Bale giving Ankiel a steady diet of off-speed pitches, and this, as you mentioned, just a big sweeping curveball. Ankiel, the front side out. Very slow pitch, unable to stay back, and Bale 1 out away from getting out of the inning.
That leaves it up to Khalil Green. There's Hal McRae and Albert Pujols with a pleasant moment in the Cardinal dugout. Breaking pitch in for the strike. Green, 0 for 3, has hit the ball in the air 3 times. Facing John Bale. Green said he really enjoyed himself getting back into the competition last night. Been working out at third base. Actually was an All-America third baseman at Clemson, so he had been there before, though he was the starting shortstop this year, opening day for the Redbirds.
Well, again, he has played in the past, but then now being asked to transition at the big league level. Bale working ahead of Khalil Green, 0-2. This is where you see that pitch probably on the outer half of the plate, hoping to get Green to fish.
Cardinals putting together 3 straight singles. Ludwig, Duncan, and Molina with the RBI base hit. 4-1 in favor of St. Louis, and fouling off another slow breaking pitch. 0-2 the count to the Cardinals' third baseman. Victory for the Cardinals would wrap up the season series against their cross-state rivals. They have not beaten Kansas City since 2006 and had the edge overall, both here at Kauffman Stadium and throughout their series inside, 1-2. But more important, the Cardinals can move ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers into first place in the National League Central Division. Here's the 1-2 coming up from Bale. 2 runners on for the Cardinals with 2 out. Protecting the plate, getting a piece of it. Cardinals were either tied or in first place by themselves since April the 10th through May the 15th. They slipped to third for a couple of days, and then they've been first or mostly second since then, trying to get back into the lead. Cubs won, as you know, in extra innings over Cleveland. So it's getting awfully tight, as it has been in the NL Central. Here's the 1-2. Curveball, fly ball down the left field line, chasing it, and near the line, and it's going to be off the wall. No, it's a home run. A home run by Khalil Green. And the third base umpire hit Rapuano way out there to check to make sure. And Khalil Green, who homered last night, with a 3-run homer to really break it open for the Cardinals.
Well, an off-speed pitch that Khalil Green gets out in front of it. He gets extension. Now, remember, he had a ball there earlier in the game. De Jesus went back earlier and made a nice catch. This one just over the outstretched glove into the first row. But that's the danger with Bale, throwing that slow curveball. Unless it's out far enough, it gets too much of the plate. A hitter, a right-hand hitter, just gets extension and can flip it down the line.
So here's Joe Thurston, who pinch hit for Brendan Ryan and bounced out last inning, takes the strike. So a 4-run 9th inning for the Cardinals, and It all happened with one out. Singles by Ludwig, Duncan, Molina with the RBI base hit. And after Ankiel struck out, Green with his home run into the barrier, right over the barrier. I don't even know if it reached the seats down the left field line for his 4th home run of the year, now with 18 runs batted in. Here's the 1-1 pitch, 2 down, and now it's 1-2. So Khalil Green, and what a burst he has made since coming back from that 19 days on the disabled list.
Well, and the important thing for him is to create some confidence, because that's really where the game lies with him. It's between the ears. And if he has some confidence, he'll go out and continue to play like he has the last 2 days.
And Thurston swings and misses. The ball gets away, and the tag is put on, and that'll do it. But a 4-run, 4-hit 9th inning, and Khalil Green with the 3-run homer. Molina with an RBI base hit. 7-1. Have a 7-1 lead as the Royals bat in the bottom of the 9th, and Ryan Franklin, who escaped serious damage in the 8th inning, will be facing Jose Guillen, Albert Callaspo, and Mark Tien in the 9th inning. And Ryan Franklin now has pitched more than an inning 5 times this year and has 3 of his 16 saves in that fashion. So here is Guillen, 0 for 3. Cardinals up by 6 runs. And the first pitch taken for ball 1.
Well, and right now, if you're Franklin, you just got to go after guys. Can't be nibbling, can't be worried about the corners. Just go right at them.
That's a strike on the inside corner, 1-1. This is a save opportunity. And Franklin trying to save it for Chris Carpenter, who gave up a run and 3 hits in 7 2/3 innings. 2-1 now to Guillen.
Yeah, Franklin, I mean, he a lot of people will say 7-1. Why is this a save opportunity? But remember, he was in the 8th, and it was a 3-1 ball game, and that's when he earned the save.
And a shot up the middle and a base hit. So Jose Guillen starts the 9th inning with a single, his first hit of the game. But it's a 6-run deficit that the Royals have to hurdle now. And that shows you the aggressiveness of the Cardinals in getting those extra runs, those tack-on runs. If this were still a 3-1 game, the tying run would be at the plate. Here's Callaspo, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. 1-0 the count.
Yeah, the thing is right now, if you're Franklin, though, why you have to go after guys, you don't want to have a prolonged inning. You don't want to have somebody else get up in the pen. You don't want to get an elevated pitch count because you want to be available for tomorrow. You don't want to waste your bullpen. Got a 6-run lead. You go after guys.
And he's keeping it away, and it's 2-0 to Cayaspo with Martin on deck. 5 hits for the Royals today. 3 off of Chris Carpenter, and Franklin has given up a couple. Willie Bloomquist with an RBI pinch hit single last inning, and Guillen to start things here in the ninth. Ground ball. Thurston will have his only play to first for the out as Guillen moves to second. And the main thing, of course, for the Cardinals, get the sure out as Guillen moves to second with 1 away to Martin.
Well, and you hit that right on the head. Get the sure out. Don't try to make the fancy play. Get the lead runner at second. Joe Thurston, very smart, just gets it, makes a nice spin, and then throws and gets the out at first.
Tien 1 for 3, tripled to lead off the third inning and was stranded at third. Ryan Franklin trying to nail down his 17th save, gets the breaking ball over for a strike. Cubs, White Sox. Red Sox, Braves. Pretty solid interleague play coming up next week on Fox. That's in tight. And don't forget the All-Star game. And we heard from both of the managers here who will be coaches. Trey Hillman will be a coach for Joe Madden for the American League, and Tony La Russa will be a coach for Charlie Manuel, the Phillies, in the National League. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tien. And earlier in the game when the Royals had some chances, Tien was at third with nobody out in the third inning, and runners were at second and third with 2 out in the fifth when it was a 3-0 ball game, and the Royals couldn't convert. Franklin's 1-2 offering, foul at the plate. Still 1-2. There you see Kansas City 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. In that situation now with Guillen at second. And a slow hit ground ball handled by Tyler Green. Makes the play to first for out number 2. 2 down, Guillen goes to third here in the ninth inning. And so Tyler Green, who gave the Cardinals some anxious moments by bobbling a ground ball, loading the bases in what would have been the third out in the 8th inning, makes a nifty play going to his left. So 2 out to Miguel Oliva. 1 for 3 with a double, and robbed of a base hit by Khalil Green last inning. So Ryan Franklin trying to nail it down. And for the Cardinals, the well-earned victory in a 90-minute rain delay. 0-1 to Olivo.
Well, a couple things if you're the Cardinals you have to be excited about. Obviously, Albert Pujols. Obviously, Chris Carpenter. But for me, Khalil Green playing a solid third base, hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Ryan Ludwig getting a few base hits. Skip Schumacher starting a rally.
0-2.
Those are all things that, again, those are things that are going to make this Cardinal ball club a team that can get to the postseason. The Carpenter, the Pujols, those things are given. Those other things, though, those things have to continue to develop as the season progresses.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and the Royals down to their last strike. Guillen, a runner at third. Cardinals lead at 7-1. Here's Ryan Franklin, strikes out Olivo, and the game is over. And the Cardinals win at 7-1. Chris Carpenter, his 5th win of the year, lost 1. And Franklin with his 17th save in 18 tries. We'll be back here at Kauffman Stadium in KC after this.